Hello, wherever you're watching. My name's Avnish Hegde, and no, I'm not alone today in today's preview. I'm just the first one in. It's called being on time. It's called being punctual. Even though it's Monday blues, it's a Monday afternoon. I do my job better than Gurkirat and Somesh clearly because they still haven't joined the party. But just joking, those boys will arrive in a couple of minutes because they're sorting their stuff out. But we are here to talk about the India versus Nepal game, previewing it, of course, on cricket.com once again. Before we proceed and wait for the boys, please like this particular video before we proceed further, because remember, this game is super important in the grander scheme of things. Ask me why. Because this is the last game that India have to pencil in their ODI World Cup squads, which is, of course, tomorrow, the D-Day, 1 month before the Grand, which starts on October 5th. It's something to wait and watch. Speaking of Somesh Agarwal, let's join in right now with regards to all the hullabaloo which is surrounding this India-Nepal fixture. It's a little bit choppy from Somesh's side, but we'll try to get through to him initially. Som, how are you Monday? All well?
All well, all well. Ready with my cup of coffee to chat with you for what is going to be a close encounter.
I mean, I'm just thinking about it. Let's get the third man, the third musketeer on this Monday in Gurkirat. Gurkirat, surely India can't lose, but if they do lose, will you stop watching cricket?
Not watching a lot of cricket anyway these days with the amount of cricket that happens. There is so much of cricket happening that regardless of how much you watch, you feel that you're not watching enough. So I don't think not watching cricket, but yeah, it would be very 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 surprising. It could go down as the biggest upset in Indian cricket history, even bigger than Bangladesh probably defeating India, because Nepal are like Bangladesh still defeated India in a World Cup. They had qualified in the World Cup. Nepal haven't qualified for the World Cup. So yeah, I mean, it would be something like India would have to play uh, worse than a Ranji side to lose this game. Worse than a Ranji side, and Ranji sides in India are also decent. It's not that they are very bad. So yeah.
I hope India don't lose, man, because India, of course, will look forward to make it to that Super 4. It's inevitable, of course. Noodle Hacks with Vasan going on to say hello to you as well. And he goes on to add, boys, saying this match is a good experimentation, so why not try and play Prasid as well as Shami with Shardul and Bumrah out? I want to ask you about that before the toss, which is going to happen right now. It's happening. We'll give you the breaking news. But Som, obviously, Bumrah is a dad, so congrats to the Bumrah household. So he's not playing this one. So who comes in? Is it Prasid, the obvious one?
I think obvious one is Shami, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't want India to experiment. I mean, that's the issue, right? Your main 11 hardly plays. Why experiment? ऐसा तो है नहीं कि Shardul has been playing so much cricket of late that he need rest or anything. Just play him out.
No, that's
play your best 11 in every game now. This is not a time for experimentation anymore.
The pitch report, of course, is being kind of updated right now in terms of my screen, which I can see, and it's the same pitch that India played Pakistan on, Gurkirat, but it is a question which Pranav Anand's also asking, and I think he's referring to you here instead of Shubman Gill. Can Gill do anything to prevent his trolling? Will be the best case scenario for him if he gets washed out. Trolling on Twitter, Gurkirat.
No, I think a washout really doesn't help India. I mean, the batters got tested. If it's a washout, then I'd really hope that the bowlers get some time to bowl rather than batters batting once again. And see, it is a very it's a no-win situation right now for someone like Shubman Gill today's game, because he scores runs. People are going to say he's a minnow basher. He could find himself very much in the same shoes as some time ago KL Rahul found himself in. He will score runs against minnows but not do well in good games. But yeah, I mean, he'll have to score runs, because if he doesn't, then seriously a lot of pressure will be on him.
Now, in fact, I'll give you some breaking news. India have won the toss and opted to field, boys. Thankfully, it's going to be an early Monday finish. We don't have to wait till 12:30 on a Monday night to do the review of things. I just want to ask Som how he sees that decision from Rohit Sharma, winning the toss and bowling first. All you guys, I think, when we were watching Pakistan India, saying no, he'll want to bat. Is this a good decision to just bowl first, skittle them out, and then chase it down?
See, in against Pakistan, I said that toss is irrelevant. I don't want to talk about it. Whatever it is, you have to go out and do it. But in this particular game, I don't agree with the decision. The point is, your batters are under a little bit of pressure. Rohit, Virat both failed against Pakistan. Shreyas Iyer looked good, but he got out. He has not played enough games. So, I mean, this is a good opportunity for to give your side batting team that full 50 overs to sort of play it out in the middle. I mean, you can have lengthy net sessions, but game time is game time. And I think with India bowling first, there might be a chance when Nepal are skittled out for a low total and Indian batters are not really tested. So honestly, I don't agree with this decision.
Okay, yeah, I think sports fan also going to echo Som's thoughts, saying batting first made more sense. Meanwhile, Neural Hacks with us and say, Avnish, don't be too excited. Rain. Yeah, speaking of the rain, it's going to be really going to be spoiling sport there. Gurkirat, I just want to ask you about the team because they made one change. Shami comes in for Bumrah, like Som was indicating. So that means Kishan starts, still no KL Rahul. We predicted that. And the top three is the top three. So what do you have to say?
I think the only reason for India probably choosing to bowl first could be that they want bowlers to have game time with the prediction around. If the match goes on, they believe that this if the prediction is for rain at around 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. or even earlier, they feel that this is probably the best way to get points out of the game. But yeah, like Somesh said, batters are slightly under pressure. You want them to have game time. uh, but yeah, I mean, this is a very 50-50 call. Both the things make sense to me. And yeah, KL was not going to be in the squad. It was something that Ajit Agarkar said when the press conference happened, that he will be available from Super Fours. And after the kind of innings that Kishan played in the last game, it wouldn't have made sense to drop him anyway. So yeah.
Okay, I don't know why that laptop of yours is a little rusty, but we'll move Gurkirat every time he just goes off. By the way, lots of comments coming through. Keep them coming through, of course. We really appreciate this on a Monday afternoon that all you guys are catching us from work, or maybe if you guys are chilling and working from home, it's good to see that. But again, I can give you an update from Palikele, and it doesn't look nice because as I peer to the television screen, which is outside, it is just looking bleak. So there will be a lot of rain and there and thereabouts. But look, it doesn't matter because India are going to be going into that Super 4. I just want to ask Som, because I said it at the top of the show, today's the last game, Som, before India kind of submit their squad to the ICC for the World Cups. So is today's game going to have any bearing? Should it?
You tell me. I mean,
No.
to be honest, I mean, this. I think the 15 that they want to pick to begin with is already said and done. They've not made any changes to the 11 apart from the one that is forced. If I'm not wrong, they've only replaced Bumrah, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's sort of obvious. The 15 doesn't change based on this game. The only thing from the broader scheme of things is whenever KL Rahul is back, is he fit enough? That remains the only question, and that change can be made later on as well. But to submit the elementary 15, I think there will be no surprises from the current 17 or the 18 that have been selected. I think Samson, Prasidh, and Tilak Verma will miss out.
Gurkirat, you agree with those? Those are valuable shouts, bold shouts, but many people might not like it in the chat. Do you agree?
Yeah, pretty much. I think apart from the 12 players that India have played in these two games and KL Rahul, these 13 players select themselves. And Tilak Verma, I feel, also goes out. So does Prasid. I think Prasid is only there if there is an injury to one of the four pacers. He could be, someone who gets drafted in if an injury happens. And yeah, uh, given the fact that Surya Kumar Yadav got selected ahead of Sanju Samson in the main squad, and they've not really had any given him any games to change that decision. I don't think that happens. I think Sanju Samson will remain as a reserve or a backup if an injury happens to someone. It's slightly unfortunate, and you'd have to really feel for him because he's really done everything that was asked of him, and his ODI record has been good, but clearly, like I've been saying that selection at the end of the day comes down to elimination, and those who are making that call, they want to be very comfortable with the players who they'll pick. It's not just about numbers alone, because If you were going to select players on the basis of numbers only, a software could do it. And this has always happened. Captains have had their preferences. Some would say this is an MI quota. I just say that it's a captaincy preference call, nothing else.
Hmm. So you mentioned those three names there: Tilak Varma, Prasidh Krishna, and who's the third one? Beg your pardon?
Sanju Samson, who's
Sanju
anyway
Samson.
among the reserves. Yeah.
Correct. So those two, I mean, are they also the most easiest to omit from that list because they have age on their side, vagera, vagera?
Of course, I mean Tilak Verma is not. He's yet to make a ODI debut, if I'm not wrong. So you can't. I mean, I've been shouting out Bangladesh, pointing at them, handing out debuts to players just this close to the World Cup, and if a team like India does so, that is even more drastic. So that's one. Prasidh Krishna, of course, I mean, he's not been playing regularly, and you can't draft him in. And I mean, you can't risk having both Bumrah and Prasidh in the 11 when it comes to the point of them being coming out of an injury and have not played games more often than not. And anyway, Shardul, Siraj, and Bumrah are your main three pacers with Shami as a reserve. So these days, I feel when it comes to selecting a squad for any India tour or series, you are always gonna sort of dissatisfy someone. But what I have lately started thinking is I make my peace if I feel at least the best 11 is there. I don't care about your 12, 13, 14, 15. If I feel that the strongest 11 is there in the part of 15, I'm happy with it. And as of now, that is the case, that at least the strongest 11 is there among the 15. After that, it's just no injury replacements.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Guys, in the comments, please agree and disagree with us, or let us know your shouts in the comments in terms of India's final 15 for that World Cup, because they have about 24 hours to submit it. The Nepal game will serve as a precursor, but it shouldn't really, because like Sobin Gurkira touched upon there, those 2-3 names which are inevitable to omit it might be left out. Sanjay Papyagiri, I'll take your question, of course. But I just want to, of course, make this a neutral platform. Cricket.com is always neutral that way. It's not an India-centric show, even though we like to talk about our beloved teams. Nepal, we're playing them. The toss has happened, like we said. Now, they said, Gurkira, they're relishing to bowl under. I mean, they would have also liked to bowl, I should correct myself. But they're saying this is the biggest day for them in their cricket history. I just want to ask you about Nepal. How are they looking forward to this game? Is it something that they can actually go on and express themselves, or do you think it's already a sad story?
See, I think why it's the biggest day for them is that because a lot of these cricketers who are now playing for Nepal at some point of time would have looked at Indian cricket or other teams in the subcontinents as an aspiration. Now, when it comes to subcontinent or even world cricket, the most famous team or the biggest team right now, you could say in terms of popularity, is the Indian cricket team. So they would have seen a lot of these cricketers and aspired to play against them at some point of time. And it's something you see players from uh, big cricketing nations also being awed when they are playing against Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma. So for cricketers who come from Nepal, it's obviously a big opportunity because if they do well, what has also become a very important factor when playing against India is that if you do well, there's always that prospect that you could earn an IPL contract, which then opens other windows for your career. Wherein if you do well in the IPL, you could get picked up in other leagues. You start getting noticed around the world. So of course it's a huge moment for them, and I'm sure it's not that professional cricketers wouldn't really want to put their best foot forward in other games, but I'm sure there will be some extra motivation to do well against the giants, which are the Indian cricket team, and yeah, take something home. If not anything else, like take just some confidence home, share some, get some tips, just soak in the atmosphere.
Absolutely, I agree with those thoughts. Let's just, of course, reflect the teams for you guys, even though it's raining out there in Palikele. And like Som said, that inevitable change for India, Shami coming in for Bumrah. And for Nepal as well, one change. The man number 4, as you can see there, Bhim Sharki, he comes in for Arif Sheikh. So just to strengthen that batting after their defeat to Pakistan. Guys, keep your comments coming through. We'll, of course, keep taking them because it's a big community we're building on cricket.com. 35.3K nearly today. So if you guys are new, please subscribe. I've been told this startling fact by my production team that 35% of y'all who watch us, in fact, 45% correction, don't subscribe to cricket.com. What are you guys waiting for? If you guys are new, that red little button there, subscribe. The bow, right? Please, button the bow. And I must add, today's a Monday Night Live, of course, at 8 p.m. itself. So we're sticking with precedent. Me, Gurkirat, and Som will be doing a mid-innings review. If the game goes that way, we'll be doing a post-match review as well. And the Monday Night Live with Akshay and Nix. Just a kind reminder to all you guys out there. Right, Sanjay Papigiri, been waiting for this comment. So answer this and take his comment, because he says, just a bit strange. India could have chosen as the alternate host instead of Sri Lanka. Anyway, we have enough stadiums and the weather at this point is much better. Also could have been ideal prep for World Cup.
See, I mean, all of this is a closed door talk, and we don't really know what has happened. We have been hearing a lot of things on Twitter. There have been allusions to India team not even agree to play in Dambulla, let alone any other venue apart from Sri Lanka. I mean, if some reports are to be believed, they were told that the chances of rain in Colombo are pretty high, and maybe they can, just for the forecast sake, shift their matches to Dambulla, and Indian players or management were not ready to even do that. So, I mean, if that's true, that's just sad. And secondly, we have been hearing that now they are planning to move schedules, which is preposterous to say the least. I mean, it is just taking everyone for granted. I mean, we have had this report coming out, I think yesterday or day before, which everyone should actually read about how BCCI is functioning these days. But I mean, it is just symbolic. I'm personally suffering the consequence of the date change in Ahmedabad. I wouldn't want to really elaborate on it, but trust me, I mean, it is. I mean, you can't even. You feel so helpless at times that you sort of just give up. At this point of time, if you really want to watch your favorite Indian cricketers in action, either I do it in IPL, because at least it is better planned, and the frequency of games is a lot more, and your chances of you getting a ticket is a lot more. Or just have some savings, go out and watch them in play in England and Australia, or venues where everything will be planned better. Because I mean, right now, I don't think the current structure, how it is working within the broader scheme of Indian cricket, they give zero F's about fans and general experience of those who are watching cricket.
They've taken us for granted. Som and Gurkirat. I mean, Gurkirat, when you go to Delhi Capitals games, of course, you get tickets sent to your house in like golden envelopes. But generally, for mere mortals like us, I mean, it's a crazy thing, yeah. Indian fans, it's a tough place to be in.
You know, there are some people who are watching this who might just call me a pessimistic, or they might say that I'm detached. But I've taken a decision, and I've taken this decision after a lot of introspection, that I'm not going to spend any money when it comes to watching cricket in India in stadiums. The last time I spent it was when Virat Kohli was playing his 100th Test match in Mohali. Mohali is a 3-hour drive from Delhi, right? And I felt like I hadn't watched a Test match in a long time, and there was 50% attendance, so I was sure that it will not be as bad, and you will get decent tickets. So I enjoyed that experience. But after that, I've decided not to really spend any money on watching cricket games in India, because the fact is, the most basic necessities are not extended to you. Every time I go to a stadium, there's a fear that there could be a stampede, and I'm really not going to blame the police officers or others, because the planned construction of stadiums are like that. It how does a stampede not happen every time there's a big game in any Indian city is a miracle in itself. Just the
But
way it
how
is.
can this be? Can't they really look at themselves and be like, we're the world's richest cricketing board, we have the most fans, the
See,
best
the
fans, the
problem
most
is
loyal fans?
the
Nothing.
problem is the problem is where is the consequence? There is absolutely no consequence. They know that fans will line up. They know that people will line up come what may. They know that people will be out there defending the players or the BCCI. There are still some people who are defending the BCCI. I mean, I can understand you want to defend the players, but there are some comments where people are mentioning thoughts on the Sharda Ugra article, or are you talking about that? I mean, there is that in that article mentions that there is there are allegations of sexual favors in exchange of team selection happening at the junior women's cricket level, and it is just being brushed under the carpet. How bad and how sad it can be.
It can,
So
but look
it's
at his point, dude. Look at his point because ultimately they know that all of us love the addiction of cricket. No matter what, we will literally go to the depths to watch a game. If there's an RCB CSK game, bro, I've seen people sell their soul for tickets outside the Chinaswamy, which
yeah,
is
I
ridiculous.
was I was there with you in the last game that was there, and people are really passionate.
But
But
that'll always be the case. Now, 5, 10 years from now, also they'll exploit us as fans.
see, at some point of time people have to make a decision for themselves, right now, Somesh mentioned that they don't give any damn about the fans. I would say that this board has become like a bully, and they don't care about other teams as well. They don't care about they don't care about other associate nations or other teams that they play with. They just want to bully whosoever they can, and that is purely because of the fans that Indian team have. And the fans are not even uh, they're not even a stakeholder in any decision making. They're not taken into consideration. Yesterday there were people who ran an open source code file for those book my show links, and it's being said that hardly 10% of the tickets are coming on sale for India games. I mean, I'm not ready to believe that a Bangladesh versus Netherlands game is sold out in Eden Gardens.
Yeah.
Bangladesh versus Netherlands game in Eden Gardens being sold out is something that I'm not ready to believe. There is something else which is
Unless
happening.
unless people have taken buses from Dhaka, Chittagong to Kolkata to watch that game. You never know.
Even then there is not there, because there are people, Bangladesh fans, who are posting about that, how they are not getting visa appointments only to come to
Yeah.
India
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
schedules came out late. So it's just,
And it's
I mean,
crazy, right? I think one of you guys mentioned it in the show as well, where when you have a World Cup, I think Gurkirat only mentioned it, the tourism perspective, India need to take that into consideration. But look, let's come back to the whole India-Nepal chat because the good news, Som, and welcome back because Som is struggling with his technological issues over there, is that the covers are off. So let's see how that goes. I will take this question and give it to Som, and then Paji can jump onto it as well because Greek play is going on us, Gurkirat. But what about Shubman Gill today? I know he might not have much of a say because India are chasing and they'll probably be chasing 100 odd at best. What can he do? Can he just get a nice 50 and calm things down and avoid the trolls, Somesh?
Yeah, I mean, so basically, all eyes are on him, like we have discussed.
He's going
Apologies,
to sneeze.
apologies for it. I mean, there are so many things going on around me, but yeah. So now all this discussion about Kishan replacing KL Rahul in the first 11, and we have been discussing that Shubman Gill, in my opinion, is not a lock at the moment. So this is going to be an important series for him. As far as the technicalities is concerned, sorry guys, maybe Gurkirat is the better person to take it forward.
Yeah, we'll excuse Som. Go on, Gurkirat.
I do think that there was a slight change in his technique, and it did not happen right now. It happened at the beginning of this year when India were playing New Zealand, because he was taking a like stump stance, and at the very last moment he was moving across so that he can take the LBW out of equation. But I think what helped him was that the ball wasn't really swinging much. So due to that, once he had gotten his eye in, he was then able to move across on the offside as well and still reach to deliveries which were on fifth stump or sort of sixth stump. But I think now that he's not scored runs, there is a bit of a doubt. There's a bit of he's a little circumspect about uh, which areas does he want to target. And an example of this is when he was playing that second test in West Indies, where when he was playing Kimar Roach, the way he was batting, he was just taking a leg stump stance, and he wasn't sure which ball will come in and which ball will go out. So the way he got out, he just played it tentatively away from his body. Right now, what he can do is he can use this game to try and regain his confidence. There is nothing like getting runs under your belt. If he gets a good 50 today, forget 100, that will help him, that will help his confidence. He really needs some fluent shots coming out of his bat, because even though he did have one good 50 in the T20I series versus West Indies, the fluency was missing. The fluency was missing. Now I'm not sure whether it was purely down to the slow pitches, or was it down to form, because he was batting on pitches much lower than the one in West Indies in 2021 IPL in Sharjah, and he was the only one who was able to time the ball there. So 2 years on, you would expect him to upskill himself and not really lose that skill. So I am hoping it's only a form issue and not really a skill issue, because if it is a skill issue, then there's a little bit of problem, and it could really hamper his World Cup if it is a skill issue. I am not yet convinced it is a skill issue, and I am hoping it's not. So I'm just hoping that he gets some runs today.
Yeah, let's pray and hope that it's not a skill issue, because Shubman Gill is key, even though he's not a lock-in, like so mentioned. And Sanjay joining us in this conversation in the chat saying, still can't fathom the fact that KL's position is in question given his record at 5 in ODIs in the last 4 years. Just based on a single innings from Ishan, can still understand why Gill versus Ishan debate continues. And Pranav Anand going on to scream questions in terms of the Nepal regard, saying Arif Sheikh was one of the batters who looked like he had a slight bit of idea what was going on against Pakistan. Why drop him? I don't know. Maybe a little niggle, I'm guessing, because that is a baffling call. And I think that's their only change. So we'll have to wait and see. But the good news is that we're on for a proper first ball, 3 o'clock start. So it's no delay with that regard. So we have 6 minutes to wrap up. And I'd like to just get your predictions out of the window, gents. What are we hoping for here? Shami and the Pacers to wreak havoc. Som, 79 all out. Nepal, that's my bold prediction.
Yeah, I think they should reach 3 figures at least. Maybe somewhere close to 150.
Okay. But would you be surprised if India rattled them for 46 all out? Send a statement.
Be surprised. Even if they score 250, I won't be surprised. So it can go either way. So, I mean, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Avnish did not mention 48 or 49. He went for
okay. Enough of that. When you look at the team, I know we don't need batting depth till 8 because we're playing Nepal. Could we have just thrown in Prasidh Krishna, bro? Overhead conditions.
No, but
Shami,
if you do
Siraj.
that, see, again, you might as well do that because you don't need the batting depth. But what do you gain out of it? If you decided that Prasidh Krishna is not in your squad for the World Cup, he's only in reserves, then what do you gain out of it? You might as well, persist with playing. I mean, it makes more sense to then play Akshar Patel instead of Shardul, because he is much more closer to that spot in the World Cup squad rather than Prasidh. And see, this is also not a opponent that is really going to test the bowling abilities of any bowler. And I don't mean this as a disrespect to Nepal, but it is what it is. You have to take all these things into account. So
how much do you think they'll get, Paji? 79, I'm saying.
No, so I'd still hope that Nepal get to 150 with at least a player crossing 50, if not 2.
Why?
Because you want teams like Nepal to take something out of this game, right?
No.
So if they get out for a 60, 70, it's really going to shatter their confidence. And
I mean,
no, I don't want that, because what happens is, the reason I'll tell you why I don't want this is because what happens is, when you have such performances, then it becomes easier to justify a 10-team World Cup. So I want some competition. I want the likes of Nepal to do well. And so I'd like them to score at least 150.
Let's see how Nepal does, boys, because even the guys in the comments are kind of not having any hope for them. Speaking of Nepal and their fans, they're going to be joining us in that Monday Night Live. So just a kind reminder again, 8 p.m. today, Akshay, Nikhil and me will be talking about India-Nepal. We'll be talking about England, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, and how they've literally whitewashed them there, and plenty of other things which has gone by in the week. So the Monday Night Live show is definitely something to watch out for. Sports fan going on to have a little bit of a chat with Sanjay Papagiri in the comments, because both these guys are saying, talking about the shit that ex-cricketers like Gambhir are speaking, that you cannot pick a name over something like that. It looks, I mean, all the things that Gambhir says nowadays, I don't even know what to believe, what not to believe.
See, ultimately, his job is to bring the eyeballs to the broadcaster, and that is something that he's doing well. That's it. He's just doing his job.
For sure. By the way, Gurkirat, you mentioned in the private chat, Srinath's 250th game as match referee, man. Has he played more or has he match refereed more? He's played more, surely.
I, as you mentioned that, I just opened up Google on my browser and I just wanted to check that. I'm just checking that.
Yeah, so we're speaking about Javagal Srinath and him becoming 250th game as a match referee or whatever that is. So well done, Javagal Srinath.
He has been match ref 250 ODIs or 250th game overall.
I'm guessing 250 ODI. Could be wrong.
No, so he's played 229 ODIs,
yeah,
and 67 test matches. So yeah, he's match refereed probably more ODI games than probably he played.
But I mean, he's a fast bowler, so we can give him that benefit.
Yeah,
but isn't that the case with all the former cricketers being match referees? Ranjan Madhugale, Chris Broad, everyone.
Yeah,
right?
could be, but I think if anything, Srinath really comes closer with his playing career and as a career of as a match referee, because this is still a very small difference in the number of games as a player and as a match referee. So I just want to correct that it's 250th ODI game for Javagal Srinath as match referee. He must have been a match referee for a few test matches as well. But yeah,
and in terms of workload management, it is always easier to be a match referee in more games than to go out and represent your country. So it's natural. It's not surprising for me.
Okay, with those words of wisdom, we'll end this match preview of India and Nepal. Of course, join us during the mid-innings show because that's something to talk about how India's bowlers would have performed. I'm hoping the mid-innings show happens in the next 1 hour, 40 minutes. Like I said, my predictions will be here. Literally bang on. Before we go, like this video for Gurkirat's charming smile and Somesh's sneezes. Bless him and bless everyone else who's joining us on this cricket.com platform. Remember, we're getting soaring high in terms of subscribers. So just join the bandwagon, like this particular video, and join us at the mid-innings. Plenty more to like on a Monday and throughout the rest of the week. We'll dish out a cricket.com menu of the week as well on the community post. Check that out for all you guys who join us there as well. Until about 2 hours or 3 hours time, we'll see you then. But have a good
you'll have to hope there is no rain.
I mean, no rain.
And if you are someone who doesn't want to join a herd, we are not getting enough subscribers. So please be those unique person to subscribe to our channel.
Lovely line.
I think that's a very good line. I just want to show off my cool Rocky and Nazar mat dalo, bhai. Nazar mat dalo hamara channel pe, theek hai? It's going steady. Let's kill it out with all of those guys. And really appreciate all you guys. Jaideep Gajera, last one from you. He's going to make a quick prediction. 66 all out. And he's saying Kuldeep Pfeiffer. I mean, if you guys love that, love the channel as well. It's a goodbye from me, Som and Gurkirat. We'll see you guys shortly. And all the best to Nepal as well as India.